He watched the storm of the 2025 Ryder Cup unfold, not from the greens, but from a distance. Cameras occasionally spotted him in Jupiter, calm and thoughtful, far removed from the frenzy that had taken over the event. It wasn't that Tiger lacked concern. It was that he understood something powerful. Sometimes silence makes the greatest impact. For a moment, his absence became the most deafening presence in golf. Everyone wanted to know what was going on behind that quiet exterior. Months before, Woods had already stunned fans by declining the role of U.S. captain. Reports from the PGA Tour revealed his reasoning. His body still recovering, demanding obligations with the Tour and his TGL venture. A logical choice. Yet, many didn't take it that way. To them, Tiger's no felt like more than logistics. It felt like a symbolic withdrawal, as if the most influential golfer of this era was choosing to step back from the chaos the sport had created for itself. Was he guarding his legacy or delivering a message without speaking? Tiger's history with the Ryder Cup has never been simple. Articles resurface his comments from 1999, when he once called the competition an exhibition. At the time, people labeled it ego, a young superstar obsessed with individual victory. But today, those words hit differently. Maybe he wasn't belittling the event. Maybe he was cautioning it, warning what happens when ego and spectacle drown out sportsmanship, the very noise now suffocating Bethpage. Perhaps Tiger's old warning had finally become reality. For months, he said nothing. No press release. No posts. Just intentional, almost intimidating silence. In that quiet, theories spread like wildfire. Some imagined him angry. Others thought he was disappointed. But those closest to him saw something else entirely. Composure. He wasn't gone. He was patient. He was waiting for the world to quiet down enough to understand. And when Tiger finally did speak, his voice didn't echo. It sliced through the chaos. His return wasn't on stage or in front of a crowd. It was subtle, measured, calm tone, steady eyes, no drama. He wasn't choosing sides. He was defending the soul of golf. He reminded the world that the sport has always relied on respect. Respect for the course, for one another, and for oneself. There was no blame, just truth, clarity where noise had lived. He acknowledged the hostility, the behavior that tainted Bethpage, the disappointment shared by many. But instead of pointing outward, he pointed inward to everyone who claims to love the game. We all carry the responsibility, he said, to protect what makes the sport honorable. His issue wasn't passion. It was a loss of restraint, the way impulse had replaced integrity. He called players, fans, and officials to restore dignity to golf. His words echoed across media rooms and locker rooms alike. In a world obsessed with volume, Tiger asked for calm. He praised Luke Donald's composure, a quiet endorsement of leadership built on grace, not spectacle. Without singling anyone out, he delivered a firm message. Greatness doesn't need to yell. It simply stands. His tone wasn't sentimental. It was cautionary. If golf traded character for entertainment, it would lose far more than titles. Legacy can't survive on disrespect, he said. It was more than a quote. It was a principle. Tiger, the master of discipline, stepping up to defend the spirit of the game. And with those words, everything shifted. For months, people argued over the chaos at Bethpage. Now, Tiger redirected the conversation toward integrity. He didn't hand golf a solution. He gave a reflection. And in that reflection, the sport saw not just its flaws, but its chance to improve. Tiger didn't just break his silence. He gave golf its conscience back. Tom Watson, still unsettled by the scenes of Bethpage, called Tiger's message a breath of honesty the sport desperately needed. For Watson, it felt like redemption, a chance to shift from embarrassment to accountability. We may not change the crowd in a day, he admitted, but we can change the example we set. A humble acknowledgement from one of golf's most respected protectors. The legends weren't angry anymore. They were ready to rebuild. Gary Player, who once blasted the event as the most disgraceful in golf, softened after hearing Tiger's voice of reason. His frustration, he admitted, came from his love for a game rooted in etiquette. Tiger reminded us what golf truly stands for. Player reflected. The fire in his tone had cooled into reflection. Even the sport's fiercest critics found peace in Tiger's sincerity. Then came Jack Nicklaus, the guardian of legacy. He told Sports Illustrated that Tiger's response was what leadership looks like, not volume, vision. Nicklaus pushed for revamped standards, stronger authority for officials, updated fan protocols, and renewed respect between everyone on the course. Reform was no longer theory. It was in motion. The conversation had shifted. The outrage was evolving into action, not a tagline. Together, a mission. The greats had turned criticism into responsibility. And as their words traveled, something long missing began to awaken, a calm, proud heartbeat the game once knew well. Maybe the 2025 Ryder Cup wasn't the sport's downfall. Maybe it was its alarm clock. Bethpage, with its shouting and hostility, stripped golf to its foundation. But in that exposure, something meaningful began growing. This wasn't about blame anymore. It was about shared accountability. Tiger's words didn't point at anyone. They lifted everyone. They reminded the world that golf's power doesn't come from volume, but from quiet excellence. Sometimes tradition has to crack before it can heal. Weeks passed, and a strange sense of peace began settling into the sport. It showed up in locker rooms, in slower handshakes, in softer cheers. Not perfect, but progress. The honesty of Woods, Watson, and Nicklaus had become a mirror, letting golf finally see itself with clarity. For once, headlines focused not on scandal, but reflection. The noise was fading. Respect was quietly returning. The PGA of America began serious talks. Stronger marshal support, stricter fan conduct rules, mental well-being protections for players. These weren't penalties. They were promises that golf would defend what made it sacred, its integrity. Tiger's calm truth had achieved what trophies couldn't. It restored belief, not just in winners, but in the spirit of the game itself. Golf wasn't just recovering. It was remembering. And then, in a moment only golf knows how to create, cameras found him. Tiger Woods strolling a practice fairway at sundown, bag over his shoulder. No crowds, no cheers, just the quiet pulse of the wind and steps on grass. Golden light behind him, stillness ahead. His message lingered like a prayer. For Tiger Woods, honesty isn't about blame. It's about defending the game he has devoted his life to. And maybe, just maybe, that's where golf discovers its grace again.